President Donald Trump is well known for his trademark no-nonsense, top-down business model of diplomacy. We know this, right? Well, Trump made his first official comment on the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula since taking office again. He also emphasized his personal relationship with Kim Jong-un. Well, with President Trump, he is expressing his intent to go back to how things were. That's what it seems like. However, North Korea's position has changed quite a bit since he left office last time. So we'll see if we get any of these surprise milestone meetings between the two men during Trump 2.0. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Monday, February 10th on befm 부산영어방송. Good morning, listeners. I hope that you're all doing well and that you had a really good weekend and are ready to begin our Monday morning together. Well, Donald Trump, we know his name, right? And he's been making waves ever since he took office about 3 weeks ago. So it's already been 3 weeks. He has signed multiple executive orders, and we've talked about some of them. And he has issued tariffs against China, and now he is picking up speed on the diplomatic front. So let's go over what's been happening. On Friday, local time, President Trump met with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. And there, a series of issues came up that may be of concern regarding the Korean Peninsula. First off, the two leaders reaffirmed the policy direction to maintain the trilateral South Korea-U.S.-Japan alliance. The two also reaffirmed the firm commitment to North Korea's complete denuclearization. And this is the first time that the Trump administration included this phrase in its official document since its launch on January 20th. You know, there had been concerns as President Trump called North Korea a nuclear power on Inauguration Day, raising questions as to whether the new administration was going to acknowledge Pyongyang as an official nuclear power. So that was a big question mark. Well, Trump continued his predecessor's regional diplomatic strategy based on Seoul-Washington-Tokyo relations in both suppressing North Korea's threats as well as keeping China's powers in check. Donald Trump also went back to his usual rhetoric concerning Chairman Kim Jong-un, focusing on, his supposed good relationship with him. However, North Korea has excluded denuclearization from its agenda, and there are concerns of impending provocations that would be seen as crossing the line, including intercontinental ballistic missile launches, ICBM launches, or, the worst-case scenario, a nuclear test. So overall, it seems that Trump 2.0 will stick with more or less similar objectives when it comes to South Korea. But we'll see how much has changed in the 4 years since he has left office. All right, it's time for a text topic. Are you ready? It's a busy Monday. So if you could get an extra hour added to your day, what would you do with that hour? Oh, and I have to admit, yesterday, Sunday, I was oh, tomorrow's Monday. But for me, when I wake up, I'm good to go. I'm ready to go, right? 자, 만일 여러분이 하루에 1시간을 추가로 더 얻을 수 있다면 뭘 하실 거예요? What would you do? What would you like to do in that extra hour? It could be sleep, or it could be something completely in the opposite direction. Maybe working on that hobby of yours, or whether it's exercise or anything like that, or maybe go on a date. What would you do with that extra hour? Let me know. You can send in your messages to BFM's live chat on YouTube. So go to the YouTube platform and search for a channel first. You can type in BEFM or 부산영어방송, and then you can subscribe, log in, and chat with our other waivers. Also, on your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050, that's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. So to add us as a friend, search for BEFM or 부산영어방송 as well. And you can listen to us in so many different ways these days. On the radio here in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. Also, like I said, we are streaming live on YouTube. You can watch again at your leisure. And also, we're available on 2 apps. Our own BEFM app and also the Patbang app. It is Monday, so speaking of busy, let's look at our lineup. We have Showbiz Buzz with Michael, Business Perspectives with Bobby, for our special interview. Today, we're going to talk about what we can look forward to in science for the year 2025. You know, there are so many advancements in AI, artificial intelligence, right? But what about space exploration? And anything else like brain-computer interfaces, you know, gaining traction. There's a lot that's on the horizon. So let's find out more with our expert. That's coming up in hour number 2. I'll be back with today's headlines. It's 7:06, and these are today's headlines. Sunken fishing vessel found on seabed, 5 dead, 5 missing. A fishing trawler with 14 crew members on board sank in waters off South Korea's southern coast early yesterday morning, leaving 5 people dead and 5 others missing. North Korea's Kim Jong-un vows to bolster nuclear forces. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reaffirmed his commitment for the development of nuclear forces, accusing the United States of being behind disputes on the Korean Peninsula as well as in the world. Foreign Ministry welcomes Trump and Ishiba's commitment to North Korea denuclearization. South Korea's Foreign Ministry welcomed the United States and Japan's recent summit meeting, where the leaders of the 2 countries reaffirmed their commitment to the complete denuclearization of North Korea. South Korea meets Asian Winter Games medal goal. With 4 gold medals yesterday, South Korea has already reached its target of 11 gold medals at the Asian Winter Games in Harbin, China. China's tariffs on U.S. goods go into effect. China's tit-for-tat tariffs on some American goods went into effect at midnight Monday, local time, escalating the trade war between the world's 2 biggest economies. And these are today's headlines. It's time to say good morning to Sue. So let's do that first. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so before we get into our Busan updates, let's talk about our text topic. So let's say magic wand. You get an extra hour. What would you do that time?
I used to say, if I only had 1 extra hour.
Oh, really? Okay, so what would you do?
Nowadays, I'm desperate for extra sleep and some exercise. So I will split that into 30 minutes for sleep and 30 minutes for workout. But
splitting it up.
Yeah.
Even with that hour.
I'm that desperate.
How many hours of sleep do you get?
Less than 7 hours. So I don't think that's enough for so I need my beauty sleep.
I see. So you need more sleep. I get it. All right. We're going to dive into our first update. This is regarding unsold housing inventory, which is accumulating. And this is really growing concerns for the local economy.
Yes. As the real estate market slows down and the number of unsold homes is rapidly increasing. So particularly Busan, Daegu, Ulsan, and Gyeongnam alone account for over 1/3 of the nation's total long-term unsold housing inventory. So we're talking about post-construction and unsold homes, 악성 미분양인데요. 다 짓고도 분양하지 못한 물량이라고 합니다.
I see. Well, let's go over the specifics for each region.
So Daegu has the second highest number of unsold homes in the country with around 8,800 and the highest number of post-construction unsold homes at almost 2,700 units. And and this is 12% of the national total.
Right.
And Busan set a record high for the post-construction unsold homes, reaching 1,886 units in December.
Yes.
And new apartment sales are also struggling, with some projects receiving 0 applications. And Gyeongnam also saw the number of unsold units, including post-construction units, continuing an upward trend. And Ulsan experienced a 52.4% surge in unsold homes within a month. So despite a slight decline in post-construction unsold units.
Yes. So this is of concern for these regions. But let's talk about the implications of these trends in this industry.
So because of this, construction companies now face revenue loss from failed sales, increased tax burdens from owning unsold properties, and risk of business closures or bankruptcies.
Yes.
Moreover, potential home buyers are opting for older apartments or rental options instead of purchasing newly built units due to high prices and falling property values. And this worsens the demand-supply imbalance. To address this crisis, the construction and real estate industries are urging the government to implement measures such as making more accessible housing loans, offering tax benefits, easing mortgage regulations, and tax incentives for unsold home buyers.
I see. So hopefully this will help the housing market, right? All right, next up, let's talk about the Busan Bar Association, which is warning against online legal consultation scams. So we need more information on this.
A fraudulent law firm in Busan has been caught operating an online scam by offering fake legal consultations.
Okay.
So the group called Jiguan International used stolen identities of real lawyers and created a professional-looking website with over 10 fake lawyer profiles. They also claim to have an office in Busan's legal town, which turned out to be an empty space. Victims were lured into sending large sums of money, with one person transferring 5 million won for services that have never been received.
Wow.
So the Busan Bar Association has also received multiple complaints and is now gathering evidence to file a police report.
Yes. And so how can people prevent themselves from falling for one of these scams?
So it's very important. So as online consultations with unverified sources can be very dangerous and risky, so people should find a certified lawyer through the legal-related website of the Korean Bar Association.
Yes.
And it is advised that legal consultations should always be conducted in person at a registered law office. Then people transfer the fees.
Yes. So make sure, just don't look on the internet and, unwittingly send the money, right? Okay, so now we know. Next up, let's talk about Busan City seeing an increase in workplace harassment consultations, apparently up 115% in the past 3 years.
According to the Busan Labor Rights Center, Busan 노동권익센터, the number of consultations has been steadily increasing each year from 2021 to 2024. One area of concern is the rise in workplace harassment and abuse consultations,
yes,
which increased by 115% from 2021 to 2024 and reaching 325 cases last year. And in 2024, 30.8% of consultations related to wages and working hours, such as wage arrears, 임금체불, severance pay, 퇴직금, and minimum wage issues were the most frequent.
I see.
And working hours, holidays, vacations, and leave issues made up almost 11% of consultations.
And so definitely this is something that we don't want to hear about in terms of the numbers going up, but apparently that is so. So that's why you're reporting on it, right? Anything else we need to know about this?
Yes. So the growing number of harassment cases is linked to increased social awareness and the introduction of new laws addressing the issue. So to assist workers in identifying and resolving similar problems, the center published the Workplace Harassment Casebook and Investigation Manual in 2024.
Yes. So thanks for giving us the lowdown on this front. All right, next, Busan universities are sending students on overseas volunteering for winter break.
Yes, university students are going overseas to engage in global community service.
And so what will they be working on?
So PKNU student volunteer team from Bukyong National University is in Uzbekistan currently, performing activities like making traditional rice cakes, mask pack experiences, and painting murals in a Goryein Maul. So Goryein Maul is a settlement of ethnic Koreans from former Soviet Union that were forced to relocate to Central Asia during the 1930s. And the students are also performing K-pop dance, taekwondo demonstrations, and conducting Korean language lessons.
Okay.
And also Arise PNU Global Social Contribution Team from PNU is working in Cambodia, focusing on education and environmental improvements. And this group is composed of students, professors, and staff, and they are involved in activities like repairing classrooms, teaching art, sports, and health education. And PNU VIT team is also volunteering in Tanzania to provide math, science, and English education to middle school students. And this marks their 6th year of the program, which includes cultural exchanges like introducing traditional Korean activities like 사물놀이, traditional percussion quartet, and 제기차기, kicking the traditional shuttlecock.
Yes.
And in addition, students from Yongsan University's Regional University Revitalization Project Group recently visited Vietnam to train professionals in healthcare services. Also, students from nursing, physical therapy, and dental hygiene departments educated local children on topics regarding infection prevention, posture, and oral health.
Yes. So although these are volunteer groups, I don't know. I remember back in the day volunteering when I was in university. The volunteers, they probably gain as much, if not more, from volunteering. So good of the youth doing that. Thank you for all the updates, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Catherine.
All right, I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. There's some congestion that's been being detected on the Namhae Expressway from Namsanjeong Station to Deokcheon Interchange. There's also some traffic buildup on Nakdong-Namno from Myeongji Interchange to Ulsukdo Bridge. Also looking slow on the Dongso Overpass from Bomnukgo Ramp to the Old Kegum Toll Gate. As for the weather, it's currently -3 degrees Celsius under clear skies with a daytime high forecast around 6 degrees Celsius. There is a dry weather special alert report in place over Busan. Across the country, the cold wave is continuing with strong winds bringing down the real field temperatures. So snow or rain is forecast across most of the country. Oh, by the way, did you all see the snow? Friday, there was quite a bit of snow. That was pretty exciting. This was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for News Digest. Haley's in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how was your weekend?
It was good. Actually, I went to, so because it was so cold,
Yes.
I decided I'm going to spend the entire day at the theater, at the movie theater. So I watched The Brutalist, which...
I saw your Insta, and then it went by so quickly. And then I was reading brutal. What is that?
It's kind of like, in my opinion, the Oppenheimer of this year's Oscar race. And by that, I mean, they have similar running times as well. Like 3 hours and 30 some minutes. It's like 215 minutes,
How did you sit for that long?
Well, wait for that because I like to torture myself.
Yes.
And I'm going to fix our text topic. I'm going to need like 3 more hours added to my day because I went to the showing that's not only the film, but has like an added like critics like commentary after that. That was like an hour and a half. So I was at the movie theater from 1:30 to I think 6:45, and they gave me like a 3-hour parking voucher. Wound up paying like 4,000 won extra because of all the extra time.
Did you go to the restroom in between?
They had guys. Let's normalize movie intermissions.
There was an
it was so
intermission. There
long.
was a
It had an
break.
intermission. I loved it.
6 hours or 5 hours or whatever it was.
Yes, actually 2 intermissions. But yeah.
Nice.
That was that. So if you give me an extra hour, I'll
Yes.
probably, because it's Oscar season. I know it's Super Bowl season, but despite having lived like a dozen plus some years in the States, I still don't understand American football.
Really?
Like, why do you guys keep stopping? Like, why?
Because there's 4 downs. First down, second down.
Well, yeah, but then between the downs, they keep stopping. And I'm like, I know there are tackles, but then you didn't get tackled, so why are you stopping? Was my question at every single Super Bowl game I was invited to. So Oscar season is like my Super Bowl season. So yeah, for the next month I'll be going to movies, the cinema.
I see.
Yeah.
The cinema.
The cinema.
The
And then,
artsy films.
Honestly, though, realistically, if you give me an extra hour, I'll
Yes.
spend it contemplating going to the. I know. I'm going to stop
He was
talking
like-
soon. She's like, is she done yet? No.
Come on, let's wrap it up.
Actually, I'm going to keep talking for that extra hour. That's it. That's
just gonna
it.
keep on talking.
I'm just going to yammer.
Not surprised. All right. We got to get to our story, and this is an unfortunate one.
It is.
Because we need the latest on that fishing trawler sinking from yesterday.
Right. So unfortunately, the casualty is rising at 5 dead, with 5 people still missing. With this trawler, Seogyeong or Seogyeong 22, it sank off the coast of Yeosu early yesterday morning. Actually, there was quite a bit of mystery because this 139-ton vessel, it was carrying 14 crew members at the time. It just suddenly went AWOL. It was reported missing around 1:40 in the morning.
Okay.
Just went off the grid without any signal. So it sank rather quickly, it seems. Excuse me, the Coast Guard and other fishing vessels went to and conducted rescue missions. At that point, they rescued 7 crew members, including 3 South Koreans and 4 foreign nationals. Unfortunately, all of the South Koreans died, and that included initially the 66-year-old captain of the ship.
Okay.
The 4 survivors are 2 Indonesian and 2 Vietnamese nationals, and they were taken to a nearby hospital to treat hypothermia. Actually, one of the foreign sailors said the vessel was capsized because of the wind and the waves. The authorities are going to conduct an investigation into the exact cause.
Very unfortunate once again. But this is one of several fishing vessel accidents as of late.
Right. And then if you're just looking at this year, we are barely into February, but this
Right.
is the second fatal fishing boat accident. So the first one was off the coast of Jeju that killed 3 people. And then last year, the number of fishing vessel deaths was actually the highest in 10 years. So according to the Oceans and Fisheries Ministry, last year there were 119 deaths from fishing vessel accidents. And that's a 52% increase from the year before. So there are about an average 2,000 fishing boat accidents every year. But the thing is, the fatalities have been going down until since 2020, until they spiked again last year. The ministry did announce safety and prevention measures in the middle of last year. However, they haven't been able to explain this increase in deaths.
Yes.
Experts do point to multiple causes, including climate change, and that leading to, as we saw, heavier waves and stronger winds at sea, but also some human causes, perhaps a regular safety training being, it's apparently lacking on the scenes,
Yes.
especially as the number of foreign workers are increasing, language barriers, but absolutely training is very important.
Indeed. Once again, hopefully we can reverse this trend. All right. Last week, the government announced that the blue whale exploratory drilling did not yield economic feasibility, but the government is not backing down from this project, so we need further details.
Right. So since that announcement regarding that 대왕고래 시추, the drilling of the blue
Yes.
whale site, the government has been, shall we say, putting out fires from this preliminary announcement. So that's because the government spent 100 billion won for the exploratory drilling of one of the 7 potential oil and gas reserves.
Yes.
So the trade minister, An Deok-keun, emphasized the importance of additional drilling, however, saying that this was just the beginning.
Right.
So he stated that the potential reason that there wasn't any gas found at this site is because the natural gas could have just passed through the Blue Whale site and gone to any one of the other 6 sites, the potential sites the government found.
I see. Well, does that mean there will be additional drilling?
Depending on who you ask. So yes, according to the ministry, or at least it's hoping to.
Okay.
In the other sites one named Squid and the other one Pollock, so Myeongtae and 오징어. The problem though is the money, the budget. Because the opposition party last year cut about 98%, so almost the entirety of the budget for the exploratory drilling. The ruling party is planning on allocating some extra budget for this, but that's still up in the air given the state of the National Assembly. So the government and the Korea National Oil Corporation, or 석유공사, they said that they're seeking out foreign investment for this purpose.
Yes.
The National Oil Corporation has incurred massive debt from the first exploratory drilling, so the thing is there's slim to almost no chance of them being able to fund this out of their own budget.
Yes.
However, the thing is though, the Blue Whale site, it did have the highest potential of having gas. So because there's no economic feasibility, it's unclear if they'll be able to get funding for the other sites.
I see. So we'll see what happens on that front. In the meantime, last week we talked about the suspect behind a hug telegram sexual exploitation ring, right?
Right,
And so the
right.
police have disclosed the name and face of this man?
Right. So we talked about this. This was a huge exploitation telegram ring, including 234 victims, including 159 minors. So it was bigger than the Nth Room scandal. So the suspect is 33-year-old Kim Nok-wan. As once again, he is suspected of being this ringleader. The police committee already decided to release his information last week, but Kim filed an injunction, which we covered last week. He put a hold on the process, but the Seoul Administrative Court turned this down. So we do have his face up on our YouTube streaming. This information is made available on Seoul's police website, but it is only available for about a month, so between now and March 10th.
I see. So, yes, once again, that was a huge telegram exploitation ring. And now we're going to turn our attention to the Asian Winter Games in Harbin. Have you been watching?
I have been in and out when I was not in the movie theater, but it's so exhilarating, but also very stressful.
It's so stressful.
And it's been stressful because of all the falls and the penalties and the calls. All right, so let's get to that. So short track usually is the star for South Korea when it does come to the Winter Games. So it prevailed on the first 2 days, winning 7 gold medals on day 1 alone.
Yes.
And it is responsible for all the gold medals that South Korea has gotten, or most of them. So let's go to the very first. The first gold medal coming from the mixed 2,000-meter relay. And that actually was the very first or inaugural race for this newly established category.
Sure.
And this was followed by a women's 1,500-meter, Kim Gil-lee winning the gold, men's 1,500-meter, Park Ji-won, and women's 500-meter, Choi Min-jung, the first gold for South Korea in this particular category.
Yes.
Skating continuing its kind of fame in speed skating, with Lee Na-hyun taking the gold in women's 100-meter race, also implemented for the first time this year.
That's right.
The gold race came from the slopes as well, with a snowboard men's slope style, Lee Chae-won, and the men's freestyle ski halfpipe, Lee Sung-won.
That's right. So many exciting things happening. And there was a bit of controversy with Rin샤오쥔. Some of our listeners out there, you might know him as Im Hyo-jun, right?
Right. So Rin샤오쥔, he was a South Korean, a rather famous South Korean short track champion, but he became a naturalized Chinese citizen back in 2022. So this controversy, a couple of them. First one came out in the short track men's 500-meter, where Lin raced against his actually friend. They even trained together from, I believe, elementary school, South Korean skater Park Ji-won. So according to South Korea's skating officials, another Chinese skater, Sun Rung, allegedly pushed Lin from behind, giving him an extra push, which you cannot do in individual races. You do that in relays.
Yes.
So that gave him the momentum to go out to the out course and pass Park, and Lin wound up winning the gold. But once again, under the International Skating Union's rules, you cannot get this help from a push. However, rules also state that once you find any potential violation, objections have to be lodged within 15 minutes of said violation. The South Korean coaches did not catch this in time. So it just kind of...
It's so quick.
It's very quick. 15 minutes is...
Right.
It's nothing if you're looking at everything
so
else.
fast,
Exactly. Rinchao쥔, however, was disqualified from his last individual category, men's 1,000 meter, because he cut into the in-course and made contact with a Japanese skater. And then in the very final category, men's 5,000 meter relay, this was another round of drama between, again, Park Ji-won and Rinchao쥔. They're vying for first place. Very last couple of meters when Lin fell and there was a bit of an altercation. There was a bit of pushing.
There was a lot of pushing.
There was a lot of pushing. But the referee only gave the penalty to Park Ji-won, disqualifying South Korea from the silver. So giving China the bronze. By the way, Kazakhstan went to first place and Japan second place.
Right, because no one was, let's be honest, nobody was expecting Kazakhstan to win
That
the
was
gold.
definitely out of left field. He just appeared out of nowhere.
Right, because they were far behind.
Right. And Japan was, by the way, outside the shot, the camera shot.
Completely. And so, yeah, it was like obstruction with his arm or whatever the official term was.
I saw two pushes, and the pushes were, in my personal opinion, from both directions.
Yes, but they say apparently, according to the rules, he put his arm out first, and then there was a pushing. Anyhow, we're not the judges. Ending on a positive note, Choi Min-jung, writing history.
Writing history,
yes.
because I mean, I remember her being like the star in Pyeongchang,
Yes.
and that was what, 2018, and she still is, writing her own story.
Amazing.
So, triple gold medalist from the Asian Winter Games. She wrote history in Harbin with a gold medal in mixed 2,000 meter race, women's 500 meter, and women's 1,000 meter. So she is the first South Korean triple gold medalist in 23 years in the short track category. Also the first female athlete to do so.
Yes.
Also taking, again, the country's first 500 meter gold. So go Team Korea.
Indeed. Very exciting. Looking forward to the rest of the events. So, yes, we'll give you details as they come along. Thank you, Haley, and we'll check in with you in hour number 2.
Thank you.
All right, we are ready for our first song. So this is 그대와 함께 by The Blue.
들어갈 수 있도록 이제는 솔직하게 얘기해봐요. 더 이상 숨기지 말고 그대여 두 눈을 감아도 눈을 뜨지 않아도 마음으로 볼 수가 있어. 언제나 그대 순간 느낄 수 있도록 내 곁에 있어요. 지금 이대로 지난 오랜 시간 동안 한 번도 말을 안 했지만 그대 위한 내 마음을 그대로인 것. 처음 만난 순간부터 나의 마지막 그날까지 그대만이 나의 마음속에 언제까지나. 지난 오랜 시간 동안 한 번도 말을 안 했지만 그대 위한 내 마음은 그대로인 것.
Welcome back, everybody. So, Junli was asking about the singers who makes the blue. It's 손지창 and Kim Min-jong, apparently very at the top of their game when they create that little duo. And so I'm glad that you enjoyed that song from our producer. You know, it is so busy. It's Monday. So let me ask you, if you could get an extra hour added to your day, bar none, what would you do with that hour? 그 1시간 동안 뭐 할 거예요? 만약 여러분이 하루에 1시간을 추가로 더 얻을 수 있다면 뭘 하실 거예요? Is it study English? Go work out? Catch up on your sleep? So a lot of people are saying sleep. I think that's a common answer that I'm seeing this morning. And what else? Benny says, yeah, sleep. And the reason, I like to continue my sleep time. Ooh, so yeah, definitely sleep is, and then Tommy says sleep or go to the gym. So it's one or the other. Sleeping and exercising are like two very like polar opposites, extremes. But I definitely hear you, right? So Leslie says, excuse me, if I had an extra hour, in theory, I would use it to read, do a hobby, or an extra load of laundry. In reality, I would probably, end up scrolling on my phone. Yes, but you're so honest with that, so thank you for that. All right, for now, though, let's get to Cat Speak for Monday morning. This morning, I want to talk about AI, but not artificial intelligence. I'm talking about avian influenza, and particularly in the United States. It is spreading bird flu across the U.S., and I hear that it is causing egg prices to soar, and so some people are, having to turn to other resources for their eggs. Here's a clip from ABC News plus NBC News.
Here in New York City tonight, the new concern over bird flu. New York's governor shutting down live poultry markets in the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens amid growing worries from California to Nevada to New York. What they're now seeing with bird flu.
In a move to stop the spread of bird flu, the governor of New York today ordering the shutdown of all live poultry markets across New York City, Long Island, and Westchester County for disinfection after inspections detected 7 cases at markets in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens.
There is no immediate public health threat. We have been vigilant and will remain vigilant so New Yorkers can go about their lives with peace of mind.
In just the last month, 22 million poultry have been impacted by bird flu across the country, including 100,000 ducks euthanized on this Long Island farm. Parks from New York to Boston have also closed to the public after the virus killed wild birds.
This started in 2022 and it keeps popping up.
Trying to keep their fridge stocked, some consumers are turning to a novel idea. Rent the chicken.
We bring a chicken coop with 2 to 4 egg-laying hens to someone's backyard. 2 hens lay about a dozen eggs a week, and 4 hens lay about 2 dozen eggs a week.
Launched in 2013 near Pittsburgh, Rent the Chicken partners with farmers across the U.S. and Canada offering 6-month rentals. Safety measures, Jen Tompkins says, have kept their flocks from falling ill.
We only buy from trusted flocks or from trusted sources to expand our flocks, or we raise our own. And we're not offering farm tours, for instance, and we have specific shoes for when we go care for our chickens.
Tompkins says they tend to see new customers during bird flu outbreaks, like one around 2022.
It happens, and then it happens again, and it happens again.
Anderson anticipates record-setting egg prices before they come down near summertime.
Do we all need to raise chickens? Because I was looking at the price of wholesale eggs, according to The Guardian. The price of large, wholesale eggs, dozen eggs, it went up to, in January, $7.24 in New York. And in California, $8.35. And sometimes grocery stores, they're actually selling prices at that are lower than their wholesale costs. So do we need to rent chickens? I don't know. I might have to if that's the price of eggs in Korea. Anyhow, bird flu. This was Cat Speak for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
I love that little wave.
Yeah, I just
Michael's
waved on
here.
the video. Hello.
Yes, for Showbiz Buzz. How was your weekend? I know you were
was
busy.
Good. I was up in Sapporo
Yes.
for my winter vacation. And they were just having their wonderful snow festival.
And did it snow?
Yes, it snowed a lot. Like, I think
Oh.
over 2 meters.
2 meters?
And I was,
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of snow, but
Yes.
it was a lot of fun. Actually, it's much warmer up there than here. So I just got back yesterday, and Busan here 너무 추워요 지금. 진짜.
춥죠. 네. Like unseasonably, like, you know.
Why is it so cold down here? It's
you
like,
know?
you know, I did not expect this to be this
And plus,
cold.
like with the wind chill factor, it feels colder than it actually might be.
Maybe
Yes.
there's the wind factor too, right?
아, 우리 PD님 너무 귀여워. 왜냐하면 부산에도 눈이 왔거든요.
I saw
Friday.
it. I actually saw it on the news, and there were like children, like kids, like running around.
Okay, this is like in the cutest way possible. People were going crazy, like because it's like it rarely snows in Busan.
Exactly.
And it was more than just a little like flurry. There was actual snow.
Actual
like, it
snow,
accumulated,
and
yes.
yeah, like there were snowflakes just being shown on the camera. People were going crazy, and yeah, as you said, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know what this means, but I have a message from one of our listeners. Layla says, 마이클님 뒷모습 잠깐 나왔는데 뒷모습 잘생겼어요.
뒷모습이요? 뒷모습이요? 아 저기 뒤에 있구나.
Can you do like your
like with that?
방송 그냥 뒤로 할까요?
아, 뒤로 like that?
이렇게 할까요? 계속.
이렇게 뒤 돌아서. Oh, thank you.
Oh, there we go.
I actually did like a town pump
다운펌.
last week, so yeah, it's still there. 아, 깨알같이 감사합니다. 아우, 부끄럽다. It's embarrassing. a little bit.
I love reading these messages.
뒷모습 좋다는 거 처음 들어봐요. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like first time in my life. Yeah, wow. 참 살다 보면.
So
yes.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I have my water. I'm not sick. I was
Okay.
laughing too much.
Okay.
Text topic is this: if we gave you had an extra hour added to your day,
So
what
like,
would you do?
I would do another round of, I don't know, laundry. I mean, it's important, but you never get the time to do the laundry every day. You know, like there's so many things to do, and usually laundry is always on the lowest priority. Well, at least for my case, right? Isn't that the case for a lot of people? I mean, yeah, it's important.
I'm laughing for a different reason.
Yeah, okay.
Can I read you the follow-up?
네.
Layla says, 아니요. 서 계실 때요. 생각보다 키도 크시고 해서 편안하시다는 뜻이로요. The producer was giving us like the too much of a
Yeah, like this.
가까워요.
Yeah, on the video, like right now, it's zooming on the back of my hair for some reason. 뒤태미나.
JB님,
But this
오늘
is-
목도 안 좋은데 너무 웃기지 마세요.
I mean, but the zoom is like, it's I think a little bit too much, you know? Zoom in too much. Like, don't.
우리
Zoom
이거
in too much.
오늘 썸네일도 쓰면 안 돼요?
Oh my goodness.
Morning
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, but
so
you never get to see the back of your hair, you know?
right.
As a, you know, but
Thank
yeah.
goodness.
감사합니다. 제 뒤태.
저 이제 진땀 나요. Can we stop?
We have to move on.
We have to move it and talk about our first story. This is a serious one.
It is very serious, and well, I'll get into it though. Okay, I'll get into it. First topic.
Yes.
Let's get back to the seriousness because it is a serious news.
Yes.
트롯 singer 송대관.
Right.
The beloved 트롯 singer, 트로트 singer 가수 송대관 선생님.
Yes.
Known for his 1975 hit "Sunny Day" or "해 뜨는 날" in Korean. died Friday at age 79. Song was taken to a hospital emergency room Thursday after his condition worsened and died of a heart attack Friday morning while receiving treatment, his family said.
Yes, yes.
He had recently been hospitalized for the treatment of candidiasis a few days ago, but was discharged after his condition improved. But eventually he passed away.
Sure.
Song debuted in 1967 with The Kind Man or 인정 많은 아저씨, but remained largely unknown until Sunny Day, 해뜰 날, propelled him to stardom in 1975. Song Tae-kwan was originally scheduled to appear on the Gayo stage show next week, but called a few days ago to postpone his appearance due to his poor condition.
Okay.
Choi Han, a writer for the Gayo stage show, said that he was still able to have a conversation at that time, but he suddenly passed away.
Yes,
and he expressed his deepest regret.
So once again, I mean, he's one of the greats.
He is.
I don't know many trot singers, but he's definitely, someone who I even know, which means that means he's well beloved and well known all across the, Korea. So
he basically created this era, of trot for a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's an end of an era.
Indeed.
Yes.
So rest in peace once again to Song Tae-kwan. Let's move to our second story.
Second story. K-pop girl group New Jeans has changed its name to NJZ.
Okay, we were talking about this before we went on air, Haley, and we're like, so like Michael's gonna say it correctly, right? It's NJZ. We were like,
or
we're like worried.
I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
but I did my practice. I did my
NJZ,
research.
yes.
So it's NJZ, not NJZ. NJZ.
Yes.
And announced its first independent activities, including a performance at an upcoming event in Hong Kong, amid a contract dispute with its agency Adore. NJZ unveiled its new name and promotional photos through its official social media accounts, which have also been rebranded from Jeans for Free to NJZ_ official.
Yes.
NJZ will take the stage at Complex Live, a concert event that is part of the global street fashion and culture festival ComplexCon Hong Kong, taking place from March 21st to 23rd. This will mark NJZ's first performance under its new name. The group has been operating independently since November when it announced the termination of its exclusive contract with Adore, citing a breach of obligations.
Right.
Adore, on the other hand, expressed regret over the name change and said, "We are deeply regretful about the members unilaterally making such a decision, even before a court ruling is made on the validity of the contracts between Adore and them." And they added, "We'll do our best to keep the value of the New Jeans brand."
Right. Yeah. So once again, this is ongoing contract dispute.
Yes.
So I'm sure we'll hear more about this. All right, let's go to our next news item, what it's about. What's it about?
I think this is a good update on one of our beloved songs, Rosé's 아파트.
Ooh.
We all know this song, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 아파트, the smash hit single from Blackpink singer Rosé, held its number 2 position on the British official singles chart top 100 for the 6th consecutive week.
Ooh.
That's a long record.
Yes.
It remained in second place just behind Lola Young's Messy, according to the latest chart released Friday. Initially debuting at number 4 in October last year, 아파트, featuring global pop icon Bruno Mars, has experienced a roller coaster journey on the chart. After dropping to a low of number 28, the single made an impressive comeback, benefiting from the decline of Christmas carols early last month, climbing to the number 2 spot and holding steady for 6 weeks.
So still going strong, right?
6 weeks and still going.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes.
And on to some more good news.
Squid Game 2.
Yes. What's going on there?
Netflix is one of the best Korean original series. Squid Game Season 2 has won the Best Foreign Language Series Award at the 30th Annual Critics' Choice Awards. Its website showed Sunday. The Critics' Choice Association announced the winner in Los Angeles on Friday, marking the second time the Squid Game series has won the award after it previously took home the honor in 2022 for its first season.
Yes.
Its lead character, Lee Jung-jae, won Best Actor in a Drama Series in 2022. The second season follows protagonist Ki-hun, played by Lee Jung-jae,
right,
who abandons his plans to leave for the United States after winning the lethal competition. Instead, he stays in Korea with a resolute mission to end the deadly games once and for all.
Ooh.
Season 2 concludes with a cliffhanger, setting the stage for the complete story of Squid Game to unfold in Season 3, slated for release on June 27th.
So that is... kudos. Congratulations to the team there.
Squid Game.
Yes. We have
I still
a message.
haven't watched it yet.
You still haven't watched it. You're waiting, right?
I'm waiting for
season 3 and then
yes.
watch it all together. We have so many more messages for you, but one of them being from Taejin, who says, 마이클님 공연 보러 가서 모닝 웨이브 부산 팬이다 하면 사인과 사진 찍기 가능한가요?
사인과 사진뿐만 아니라 영상도 찍고 같이 Morning Wave Busan!
Ooh,
Hooray! Or
really?
당연하죠. 물론이죠. 일단 보러 와주시면은 anytime I am ready to take photo and do the signs for you. It will be my honor.
레일라님 says, this shot right here, 이건 거의 새치 찾기잖아요. 새치 찾기.
아니, why is PD님 so like insistent on showing my back?
Because she kept on saying that your 뒷모습이 멋있다 했는데요.
Yeah.
이 camera, the way it's set up, 이게 더 이상 이렇게 더 멀리서는 못 찍어요. That's like
It's
that's
technical
the
issues.
angle, right? Technical issues.
Oh, so
네.
yeah, so this is
Right.
okay. Yeah, I can see some 새치 there, right there. Yes.
No. But
지난주에
you're such a
염색했는데.
good sport. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming in with all the good information, and we'll definitely check in with you next week. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And as we wrap up, and Leslie's saying, oh, you have nice hair. The comments, they go on and on. We could just do an hour on comments on Michael.
노력했습니다.
But of course, 네, 항상 노력하시죠. Let's get to this one. This is 네가 참 좋아. This is by Julie as requested by Layla.
온종일 정신없이 바쁘다가도 틈만 나면 네가 생각나 언제부터 내 안에 살았니 참 많이 웃게 된 너 때문에 어느새 너의 모든 것들이 변해지나 봐 부드러운 미소도 나지막한 목소리도 아직은 얘기할 수 없지만 나 있잖아 네가 정말 좋아 사랑이란 말하긴 어설플지 몰라도 아주 솔직히 그냥 네가 참 좋아 친구들 속에 너와 함께일 때면 조심스레 행복해지고 어쩌다가 네 옆에 앉으면 세상을 다 가진 기분이 드는 걸 우연히 눈만 마주쳐도 그들의 발끝만 보게 되고 조금씩 내 마음이 너에게 가고 있는 걸 이 세상에 두 사람 너랑 나만 몰랐나 봐 얼마나 잘할
바쁜 일상은 잠시 뒤로하고 특별한 시간을 선물 받는 바로 이곳 부산에서 우리의 삶은 축제가 됩니다. 축제로 하나 되는 부산. 여러분은 어떤 축제를 기다리시나요? 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 bfm 부산영어방송이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
These are the guidelines for action for people in the event of an apartment building fire. First, if evacuation is possible in the event of a fire in your home, move to a safe place in a low posture by using stairs. And if evacuation is difficult, move to an evacuation space or block the door gap and call 119 for rescue. Second, if a fire breaks out in another home and no flames or smoke enters your home, wait inside the home, call 119, and act according to the announcement. Third, if flames and smoke come into your home in the event of a fire in another home, check to see if evacuation is possible and then evacuate or request rescue. This was brought to you by the Ministry of the Interior and Safety and the National Fire Agency.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded. What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
The time is now 8 o'clock and this is news highlights. Sunken fishing vessel found on seabed, 5 dead, 5 missing. A fishing trawler with 14 crew members on board sank in waters off South Korea's southern coast early yesterday morning, leaving 5 people dead and 5 others missing. The Coast Guard said it has located the 139-ton vessel at a depth of about 80 meters under the sea, hours after the sea was reported missing at 1:41 a.m. in waters off of Yosu. 8 South Koreans, 3 Vietnamese, and 3 Indonesians were aboard the vessel. 4 other crew members survived as the search is ongoing for the remaining 5 persons. North Korea's Kim Jong-un vows to bolster nuclear forces. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reaffirmed his commitment for the development of nuclear forces, accusing the United States of being behind disputes on the Korean Peninsula, as well as in the world. The North State media reported on Kim's comments from the Defense Ministry in celebration of the 77th anniversary of the founding of the Korean People's Army, where he reaffirmed the country's policy of developing nuclear forces. Kim said that the U.S.'s deployment of nuclear strategic assets on the Korean Peninsula in war exercises is causing security challenges, adding that the North will take sustained countermeasures to ensure regional military balance. Foreign Ministry welcomes Trump and Ishiba's commitment to North Korea denuclearization. South Korea's foreign ministry welcomed the United States and Japan's recent summit meeting where the leaders of the two countries reaffirmed their commitment to the complete denuclearization of North Korea. On Friday, local time, U.S. President Donald Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba also expressed concerns over the North's advancing weapons programs and underscored the importance of trilateral cooperation with South Korea during their first in-person summit. Seoul said it will continue its diplomatic efforts for the complete denuclearization of North Korea based on close trilateral cooperation with Washington and Tokyo. South Korea meets Asian Winter Games medal goal. With 4 gold medals yesterday, South Korea has already reached its target of 11 gold medals at the Asian Winter Games in Harbin, China. All 4 goals came from ice categories yesterday, including short track's Choi Min-jung, who became the first triple gold medalist of the competition. South Korea finished the short track competition with 6 out of 9 gold medals in the bag. With 11 gold, 9 silver, and 7 bronze medals, South Korea sits in second place in the medal table. China leads the way with 15 gold, 15 silver, and 14 bronze medals. China's tariffs on U.S. goods go into effect. China's tit-for-tat tariffs on some American goods went into effect at midnight Monday local time, escalating the trade war between the world's 2 biggest economies. Beijing announced a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas, or LNG, and a 10% tariff across crude oil and certain vehicles. This was in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's 10% tariff across all Chinese goods coming into the U.S. And just hours ago, Trump said he will announce a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imported to the U.S. on Monday local time, as well as reciprocal tariffs in the coming days. This was News Highlights. All right, everybody, it's time for Waga Waga. Haley's in the studio.
Hello, hello.
Hey, so now that, everybody's paying attention because it's Waga time, I'm going to take it upon myself to let people know, because I just got a message saying from a newbie, a new person checking in with us, like, how do I send in messages to Morning Wave in Busan? Well, let me let you know because it's hour number 2. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can send in your messages through several ways. First up, Kakao Talk. But how you do it is go to 친구 찾기, friends. And then what do? You type in befm, right? And then, or 부산영어방송. And then you add us as a friend. 추가를 하시면 되고요. And then you can send in your messages that way. Also, so easy. On your phone, pound 9050, 샵 9050. But that's going to cost 100 won. 100원 되고요. And lastly, on YouTube, this is, I think, not necessarily the best way, especially for driving. Don't do it that way. But on YouTube, you can also search for BEFM or 부산영어방송 to find our channel. You click on the little pink logo, and then you can... What is that scribbling? Oh, 시끄러워요. 집중 안 돼. Okay, so Haley's writing it down for us, right? And then what you do is you can add us, add the channel, you can subscribe, and then Yes, definitely. What do you have to do, though, while you're there? Is this hint enough? Okay, we're good. All right. So there we go. I was like, what is she scribbling? That marker noise was so...
Important messages.
All right, we're going to jump into our first story for Waga. First, threats against the Constitutional Court are escalating. Not good.
Unfortunately, yes, both online and at in-person protests.
Yes.
So first, Seoul's Yeongdeungpo police are investigating a series of online threats from this website, DC Inside in particular, oddly enough, the U.S. Politics Gallery. So one user posted multiple photos from both inside and outside the Constitutional Court, and that inside part is particularly troubling, saying that this person went in and scoped out the court. The user said that the walls are low and kind of proposed that they would be easy to jump if needed be. Other people posted maps of and around the court and even the blueprint of the Constitutional Court's building.
Yes.
So apparently there have been multiple such posts made on this particular gallery since last year, including status updates on police dispatch situation and license plates for CIO vehicles on the day of and around President Yoon Suk-yeol's arrest and when he went in for questioning.
Right.
So the police are currently tracking down the users.
Yes. And then those holding pro-Yoon protests over the weekend also called for violence against the Constitutional Court.
Right. So always there's a clear line. Everyone is entitled to free speech and the right to protest and hold rallies. But any form of violence is, of course, not okay. So this was at the anti-impeachment rally hosted by Pastor Chun Kwang-hun. So the attacks here focused on the Constitutional Court because the court recently turned down President Yoon's request to verify the claims of election fraud. So Pastor Chun said that the Constitutional Court must be dismantled. And other speakers called for destroying or destruction of the court.
Yes.
And this kind of wound up turned into a chant calling out the justices by their name, followed by stomp these individuals. The speakers included a sitting lawmaker who was the fifth-term People Power Party lawmaker Yoon Sang-hyun, who bowed down to Chun and criticized the court and the justices. And also in Daegu, there was another rally where local lawmakers joined in. And here, one of the speakers included the kind of controversial Korean history lecturer Chun Han-gil. Again, this raises concerns of political violence, especially following that Seobu court raid.
Yes.
So once again, caution on all parts.
Right. So that's our first issue. Moving on, though, there has been a harrowing report about a human egg harvesting ring in Georgia.
Right. So this is the country of Georgia where about 100 women are allegedly being kept as, in their words, as slaves for human egg harvesting. And this is according to a report by the Bangkok Post. So this story was uncovered after 3 Thai women, they escaped or they were able to be freed from this so-called egg mafia, and they conducted interviews and exposed the operation. So about 100 women, apparently mostly Thai nationals, were lured there from a Facebook job posting. So they were apparently looking for surrogates, in Korean that's 대리모 for Georgian couples unable to have children. This apparently promised about 25,000 baht, or roughly 1 million won per month in stipends and salary. However, once the women landed, they were taken to large properties, 4 such properties, where they were allegedly pumped with hormones to stimulate egg production and then got them removed once a month. So it is believed that the eggs are being sold to and trafficked to other countries for in vitro fertilization. One woman said that they had their passports confiscated and threatened and claimed that this ring is being run by Chinese criminal gang. That has yet to be verified. The Thai police have launched an investigation along with the Georgian Interior Ministry.
Well, I mean, the fact that they're being held against their will.
Right.
And then put through like hormone treatments, get pumped with hormones to produce eggs. So inhumane. Let's bring it back to South Korea. And this is a story that has to do with what constitute as self-defense in South Korea. And this is important to know.
Right. So we've had an expert come in and talk about this, I believe, Professor Song. Self-defense in Korea is kind of a tricky concept to prove in court, not as easily as some other countries. And often these end up being stories of frustration where someone is getting attacked and they kind of hit back and they both get charged with assault. different story this time around. So a 63-year-old man, he was waiting for his food at a restaurant in Cheongseon in Gangwon province when a 50-year-old woman walked into the restaurant and apparently just began loudly complaining to the owner.
Oh.
And she started, the woman who was yelling,
yes.
She took out her cell phone and started filming the whole thing. So this customer, this older male customer, told the restaurant owner to just call the police. And then at this point, she turned the situation onto him, starts yelling at him, and apparently started filming him as well. So at this point, he picked up a soy sauce bottle and started kind of wielding it, waving it against her. He didn't make contact. He didn't hit her, but he kind of did threaten her.
Right.
So the question is this threatening, a form of threatening of violence, or self-defense? That's the big question.
Right.
Well, the law enforcement, the police, and then the prosecution investigated the case, and they reached the conclusion that he did threaten her.
Okay.
So they reached a summary order, 약식명령, without going to court, for him to pay a 500,000 won fine.
Okay,
But
and then what happened?
Well, then he would, it's a fine, but it would go onto his record. So he actually took it to court and claimed not guilty because self-defense. The court ruled in his favor. So yes, it was self-defense because it was apparently a passive form of resistance. He didn't hit her once again to get out of an unjustified attack. And I think this is an important part that sets precedence within the realm of social convention. 사회 통념상 괜찮다 was the ruling. That's because, once again, it wasn't unprompted. The woman cussed him out and she started filming him without consent. So had that video made its way online, then it would have caused him harm, or it would have had his rights violated because he didn't consent.
Okay.
The prosecution appealed the case, saying that he could have taken other action to stop the filming instead of waving, a bottle around. However, the appeals court also agreed with the first court. So yeah.
So now we know.
Maybe widening the scope of self-defense in South Korea.
Interesting. All right. For our last story, this is about people who never go to why? Sorry. Okay, let me finish my sentence. Who never go to claim their lottery winnings. Why?
Yeah, so if you buy the lottery, remember, first of all, set an alarm, because you do forget. Was it Saturday at 8 p.m. is when the lotto winnings are announced?
I don't know. I bought a few, I don't know, everybody has had dreams this past week. They kept on saying, go buy something. And so they sent me the numbers and I picked, it was like $5, 5,000원. Right. And then I don't even know when they do the drawing. 언제 하는지 항상 잊어버려.
8 p.m. Saturday.
Me? Why?
8 p.m. Saturday. And then you don't even have to tune in. You can do it via the portal site app with the smart lens, and they'll tell you. In my case, it was always, you didn't win. Fine. But you have 1 year. You have 1 year to claim your winnings. Please do. So according to Dongheng Lottery, which operates the lotto, 4 first place winners did not claim their winnings after 1 year. So they're no longer winners because you won, but you never got your money. A year has passed. Year has passed.
Could it have been us? Where?
I think it was me. I think one of them was me. I don't. Well, probably not, because these are all automatic number generations in Ansan, Naju, Seoul, and Changwon.
Darn it.
I know. So these were from, by the way, there's no point now because once again, you lost your winnings, but from January 13th of last year, 2 winners that day, both winning 1.3 billion won each. From January 20th and February 3rd of last year, the January 20th one, 1.5 billion.
Yes.
February 3rd, 1.8 billion won.
So, along with Tommy, who says, I forgot I bought lottery last week too. So,
please
I'm
check.
not the only one.
Please check.
All right. What happens to that money?
Actually, it's good news for us.
Okay, us
because it goes back to the lottery fund.
Oh,
so
really?
Us, the capital
Do they add it in?
They do add it in. Right. And then the money goes into public services. Because, by the way, when you do buy the lottery tickets, the proceeds, some parts of the proceeds, they do go into
We're doing a good service.
Public benefit, including housing for those in need, scholarship funds, and cultural heritage protection, conservation, and preservation.
And by the way, we don't condone gambling.
No, but lottery isn't gambling.
It's legal. And of course, we don't want you to be addicted. So
right. Absolutely not. But if you
are you okay,
did buy your ticket, is it one of you? Did you go to Changwon, Ansan, Naju? But if you did buy your ticket, please check.
As a joke for our family, this is what we say.
Yeah.
If I disappear on a Monday or a Tuesday and I'm gone without a word, you know where I'm going to be. In Seoul, picking up my little check is the ongoing joke. All right. So, yes. Yes, we will definitely check in with you tomorrow. Can we hold that up one more time?
Yes. So you can add us on 부산영어방송.
The little...
Or on YouTube, like and subscribe.
Yes. Thank you, Haley.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Here is your updated traffic and weather. It's time for your updated traffic report. There was a 3-car collision on Pansonglo from Alec intersection to Myeongjang station right around Chungnyeolsa station. So it's causing backup right now. Please be aware of that area. There's also congestion on Pyeonglo from around the Wondong interchange in both directions though. Traffic building up on Jungangdaero from Yeonsan intersection to Seomyeon intersection. Also looking slow on Dongso overpass from Hakjang ramp to Chure ramp. As for the weather, it is -3 degrees Celsius under clear skies. It's going to go up to around 6 degrees, so slightly warmer. There is a dry weather special report in place over Busan. Across the country, the cold wave continues with strong winds bringing down the real field temperatures. Snow or forecast across most of the country. This was your traffic and weather. And this is Monday Morning at 5:19 by Rialto.
At 8 o'clock we said goodbye. That's when I left her house for mine. She said that she'd be staying in. Well, she had to be at work by 9. So I get home and have a bath. And let an hour or two pass. Drifting in front of my TV. When film comes on that she wants to see. It's Monday morning, 5:19, and I'm still wondering where she's been. 'Cause every time I try to call, I just get her machine. And now it's almost 6 a.m. and I don't want to try again. 'Cause if she's still not back, then this must be the end. At first I guess she's gone to get herself a pack of cigarettes. A pint of milk, food for the cat. But it's midnight now, and she's still not back. It's Monday morning, 5:19, and I'm still wondering where she's been. 'Cause every time I try to call, I just get her machine. want you there. It's Monday morning, 5:19, and I'm still wondering where she's been. 'Cause every time I try to call, I just get her machine. And now it's almost 6 a.m. and I don't want to try again. 'Cause if she's still not back, well, heaven knows what then. Is this the end?
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoy that song. I swear, if you only knew what we were talking about right before we always go on air. 근데 안 돼요. 얘기하면 안 돼요. 19금이라. So we're a news show. All right. So today for our text topic, we're talking about it being a busy Monday. And the fact that if we handed you an extra hour to your day, what would you do with that hour? 만일 여러분이 하루 1시간을 추가로 더 얻을 수 있다면 뭐 하실 거예요? So I love these answers on Kakao Talk this morning. I'm going to read a couple. So Young joining us, and he says, if I got an extra hour, I would do absolutely nothing, he says, because I've been running all my life. If I truly have an extra hour, I just stop. I take a deep breath, feel the world around me, and finally, for once, just exist. Wow, that is like so philosophical, like existentialism. That is so deep, but I appreciate your message. So thank you for sending that in. And we have another listener here, Clay and the Potter. I love your username. Says, if I had an extra hour today, I definitely do what I missed yesterday, which is, and by the way, we're not paying this person, which is listening to the broadcasting of Morning Wave in Busan. This is a real message. I'm not making stuff up on our Kakao Talk. So what a sweet, sweet message. Thank you for all your responses. And for now, though, we're going to get to our special interview. We are well into the year 2025, but it still kind of feels fresh because we just had the Lunar New Year holiday, right? As we navigate through this year, 2025, the landscape of science and technology is rapidly evolving. Advancements in artificial intelligence, or AI, are becoming more integrated into daily life, influencing various sectors. Space exploration is reaching new heights with multiple lunar and solar missions planned. We have additionally innovations like brain-computer interfaces that are gaining traction, potentially transforming healthcare and human capabilities. And we have covered some of this. With that said, what more can we expect in 2025 is the big question. So joining us on the airwaves is Professor Andrew Maynard, who is a professor in the School for Future of Innovation in Society at Arizona State University. Let's say hi to him. Hi, Professor. How are you?
It is lovely to be here. Good morning.
Yes. So first of all, let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. I mean, it is such a big part of our lives. And we have like chatbots, we have facial recognition and recommendation algorithms. And in the year 2025, it is expected to play a bigger role, it seems, according to many experts. So you, Professor, you're our expert for today. How do you see AI shaping daily life this year? What do you say?
Oh, goodness me. I was thinking, I was listening to the previous introduction. What would you do with an extra hour? At the moment, I would use an extra hour not to talk about AI. Things are going so fast. It's exhausting. I think this is going to be the year when we see some even bigger breakthroughs. So AI is going at breakneck speed. Over the last few weeks, we've seen AIs that can think for themselves. They can reason. We have AIs that can do academic research. We've had about AIs that are integrated into our phones. And I think we're going to see an awful lot more of this through 2025. And in fact, the head of OpenAI, Sam Altman, has said that this will be the year of AI agents. So this is AI that you can tell it to go and do stuff for you, and it'll do it. It'll search the internet. It'll plan your holidays. It'll do a bunch of things. Now, whether we get there, I don't know, but this is certainly coming down the road.
Yes. So that sounds pretty amazing, but you said at breakneck speed, and to me, it feels good at the same time, a little scary. So I'm sure there are some risks involved, though.
Oh, goodness me. There are huge risks. It's the same as with any incredibly powerful technology. It could do amazing things.
Right.
And so, for instance, people are talking about using AI to do research that can come up with new cures for diseases, which is fantastic. But as with any incredibly powerful technology, we get things slightly wrong. And goodness knows where it will lead us. And the challenge here, of course, is I think we can probably create AI which is mainly good rather than having risks. But if it goes so fast that it takes a year or so to catch up with those risks, imagine the challenges that we could be facing.
Yes. And so as we kind of try to wrap our mind around all these possibilities, another frontier, pun intended, that is going to be at the top of many people's list, space. Space agencies and private companies, they're planning some major missions to the moon, to Mars, and of course beyond. So, some will involve things like gathering new data, but also preparing for human space travel as well. So what do you think are going to be the most important space missions this year?
Slightly tricky one because space exploration goes reasonably slowly. So this is going to be a year of consolidation, I think. You're going to see a lot more launches that are launching satellites around the Earth. You are actually going to see a launch that's going to take a module to the moon that is going to be one of the first missions to try and prepare us for actually building a new base on the moon. So that's quite exciting. That actually goes very, very shortly indeed. And then there are actually other missions that are already out there. So one of the most exciting scientific ones was the Europa Clipper mission that launched the end of last year.
Right.
And this is a mission going out to the moon Europa. It's going to be a few years before it gets there, but this year it's going to do a close flyby by Mars. So people are going to be watching that very closely. And in the distance, that's an incredibly exciting mission because it's going to be looking for evidence of possible life on this moon.
Indeed. And anything else you want to add, or is it okay to move on to our next topic?
No, actually, the only other thing I'm going to throw in, this is so this is something that people are going to be talking about in 2025 with space, but it's about something that is not going to happen until 2032. And that is the discovery of this asteroid, where at the moment there's just over a 2% probability of it hitting the Earth in 2032. And I think you're going to see people this year talking about what should we do about this? Should we just ignore it? Should we all come out in 2032 and watch it pass? Or should we be trying to deflect that asteroid from the Earth's path?
Indeed. So it kind of sounds like, movies that we've seen where, there's an asteroid, right? Armageddon. But yes, definitely very, very fascinating. And what about this route? Because for me, I've covered this on for clips that I've done for the show because I thought it was fascinating, like developing brain implants that let people, control devices with their thoughts. And of course, first and foremost, helping people who might have a disability and on, enhancing human abilities. So where are we on this for the year 2025?
Yeah, so clinical trials started with these technologies last year. In fact, I should explain that this idea of putting a chip inside your brain and using it so that signals can go into the brain and you can send signals out so you can control things, that technology has been around for a while. But we've now got a number of commercial companies that are really pushing the bounds, having these wireless chips. So Neuralink, Elon Musk's Neuralink is one where they now have 3 patients where those patients can get this little wireless chip and they they can not only control a computer and a keyboard, but they're beginning to be able to control physical objects just by thinking about it. And this is not the only company. A couple of other big ones are a company called Synchron that actually puts little electrodes up through the blood vessels into the brain. Another one, Precision Neuroscience, which has this mesh, this net that goes over the outside of the brain. All of them are really pushing the bounds of how we can connect wirelessly with computers. It's going to be a while before you see this in the mainstream, though. It's going to be several years while these clinical trials go through.
Right. And so will this not also open up this whole industry where it might really impact healthcare, right? Because for me, it's like, so for the little bit of research that, I've done looking into just this field alone, it's like pretty amazing how someone who might have been paralyzed has in one story has been able to actually regain sensory some sort of sensory in his hand, where he could actually feel his sister's hand in his own hand. So that's pretty amazing, right?
It is. It's a very fraught area, I will tell you that, because there's a lot that we don't understand about the brain at the same time. And this actually goes back to AI. We're coupling artificial intelligence with these brain-computer interfaces to enable people to do things just by thinking that they've never been able to do before.
Exactly. And so if we go beyond AI and space and breakthroughs in that field, what about things like clean energy or biotechnology, or even, I know it's very difficult to understand as a layperson, like quantum computing?
Yes. So I think you're going to see talk about all of those this next year. I suspect that AI is going to swamp everything out. But here's the thing. AI is an enabling technology, which means that in each of those areas, it's enabling them to go faster. So, for instance, in biotechnology, people are now using artificial intelligence to explore new possible drugs and really accelerate the rate of discovery around not only new drugs, but also new medical treatments. So I think we're going to see some of that in 2025. Quantum computing, that's a little harder because quantum computing always seems to be just about to break through, but it's always about 10 years away. So I think we'll see some small increments this year, but maybe nothing substantial.
I see. And so as we are discussing this, all this technology and advances, there are still concerns about things like privacy, security, and also just fairness, right? The haves versus the have-nots, who will be able to afford such things versus people who won't be able to in their lifetime. And then the whole issue of AI-generated fakes, deepfakes, brain implants, etc. Real ethical issues and questions. So what challenges should society at large be aware of as we delve deeper into some areas that kind of are gray right now?
Yeah, so the answer is all of the above. And I'm a little biased because this is one of the things I study. I study what can go wrong with technology so we can get them right. And the reality is that all of these incredible technologies have got some deep, deep downsides, and they're likely to have very big unintended consequences, which means that for anybody that's following these, there are some fairly sort of basic guidelines. One is, get excited about the technologies. That's great. These could change the world. Secondly, be open-eyed. Realize that these technologies have got a big downside as well as a big upside. And thirdly, become part of the conversation. Don't assume somebody else is going to fix these problems, because they won't. If you are concerned about things, talk about it with others so that at least that message gets through.
Yes, indeed. Things that we can do, even if we're not at the cutting edge of science ourselves. But thank you so much for joining us today and sharing with us what we might expect in 2025. Thank you, Professor.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, once again, this was Professor Andrew Maynard, and we talked about some exciting fields where we might see leaps and bounds, and other areas where, maybe a little bit slower, but nonetheless really, really exciting to think about. This was our special interview. We're going to get to our next song. This is 이제서야 by Kim Dong-yul as requested by Betty.
온통 행복한 연인들 던지고 괜시리 울컥 화가 나는지 혼자서 영화를 볼 때나 슬픈 음악을 들을 땐 생각 없이 한바탕 울며 웃다가 터질 듯 가슴이 저며 오곤 해 사랑해 되뇌이다 왜 나도 몰래 미안하다 말이 섞여 나오는지 잘못했던 것만 생각나는지 한 발 늦어서 달게 되는지 술 취한 밤이며 전화번호 수첩을 뒤적이다가 멍하니 잠을 또 설치기도 해 돌아와 말도 못하고 나 혼자서 쓸데없이 어떤 기대만 하는지 왜 이렇게 내가 바보 같은지 나의 부족한 사랑에 지쳐 떠나간 거라면 이제 난 준비가 된 것도 같은데 매일 웃게 해줄 수 있을 텐데 해야지 아픔에 비해 다시 시작하는 것 내겐 너무 쉬울 것만 같은데 정말 잘할 수 있을 것 같은데 이제서야 나타날 것 같은데
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It's time for Business Perspectives, which means Bobby's here. Good morning.
Good morning, Catherine. How are you?
I'm doing well. How was your weekend? What'd you do?
Oh, well, despite the cold, it was
Yes.
okay, I got to actually play some basketball again.
Ooh, what position do you play?
I usually play forward.
Forward.
But yeah, I haven't played indoor basketball full court probably for like 2 years.
Where do you usually play without giving you like...
No, I a place in Puku and...
Puku, that's far.
No, but like... I just met some guys on the court, outdoor playing in the summertime, and they invited me to this basketball club. And this is the first time I went last night.
Wow, you're like branching out.
Yeah,
How was it? Were you like almost dying after, or
right now I'm feeling
dying
it.
right now?
I had a couple aspirins last night, but that's
but you're
okay.
good to go?
Yeah, I want to play again.
Oh, how many points did you score?
I don't know, probably on average every game, maybe 4 or 6 points, Yeah, but
nice.
It's fun, yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
yes. All right, well.
Can I share with you a funny story before we get in our segment? Do we have time?
Yes, we have time.
So it just shows how small this world is.
Oh, no.
That last week, I found that there's a connection between Morning Wave's PD Nim and my father-in-law. From the standpoint that PD Nim's father is my father-in-law's hube from university.
Wow.
And they know each other very well, not only in university, but post-university as well. So I got that connection from PD.
6 degrees of separation.
Absolutely, yeah. I think in Busan it might be like 3, but yeah. It's crazy, but we connected the two of them after so many years, and it was just fun to watch, and they both have a healthy respect for one another, so that was really good to hear.
Good thing it wasn't like,
oh yeah,
like back in the day.
Yeah. I'm sure if that came out, I would never have heard that from.
Yes. Aw.
So that's pretty cool.
I love stories like this, human stories. Yes. All right, so. What's your topic for us today?
All right. So the topic for this week is South Korean's defense industry.
Ooh.
Yeah. Since I've been here for the past 6 years, it seems like this industry has been getting more and more attention, especially with recent technological developments in this area.
Yes.
So going to dig into this topic a little bit more this week.
Okay.
So in terms of overall background and how this industry got its start, right? It's definitely has experienced remarkable growth since it got started.
Right.
Now, it was incepted pretty much in the 1970s, and it was really driven by 2 factors. One, self-reliance, and 2, modernization. Now, in terms of like self-reliance, so after the Korean War, the need for self-reliance became much more evident with the reduction of the U.S.'s military presence in Asia in the late 1960s. Now, during that time, in 1969, then U.S. President Richard Nixon announced that the U.S. would begin to reduce its military presence in Asia and allow its Asian allies to be in charge of their own security.
I see.
So in the 1970s, under then South Korean President Park Chung-hee's leadership, South Korea began to develop its own defense capabilities with the establishment of a domestic defense industry which helped implement military reforms and industrial policies to modernize the military and also boost economic growth.
Yes. So that was a big era.
Big area. I mean, overall for the country, but now even for this small area. Right. So this was, the economic growth was right in line with the country's industrialization efforts during that time.
Sure.
And overall massive economic growth. Right. Now, there was a commitment by that administration to invest and develop its own heavy and chemical industries to achieve, quote-unquote, defense independence.
I see, yes.
Which led to the enactment of the Heavy and Chemical Industry Development Plan in 1973.
Okay.
Now, during that plan, there's more history, but that plan, which I found really interesting, the economic plan was aimed to switch South Korea's production from light manufacturing to more heavy and chemical industries, really focused on shipbuilding, steel, heavy machinery, and chemicals. Right. So a lot of the people, the foundation of the economic boom for South Korea overall.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, going back to this defense industry, 1971.
What happened?
South Korea developed its first weapon on its own.
Ooh.
With restrictions. What they were licensed Colt M16 rifles. Okay. Then in the mid-70s, under more licensing agreements, the country produced U.S.-designed weapons and ammunition.
Okay.
From the mid-70s to the mid-80s, defense contractors here in South Korea began to reverse engineer U.S.-made weapons to really help their own R&D efforts and develop domestic weapons.
Okay.
In the 80s, the defense industry has matured enough to produce basic weapons and equipment, accomplishing the country's goal of its military becoming self-sustaining. So if you think of that's a big hurdle, like a decade and a half later after, right? In 1989, the aerospace industry became much more proactive in the defense business as the country announced it would develop the Korean Fighters Program in conjunction with McDonnell Douglas, an aerospace industry behemoth in the day, with the goal of domestically developing a supersonic fighter jet within 2 decades.
So that's when it began.
Yes, like with
this
the
endeavor.
Jets.
Yes.
Now, in the early 90s, the domestic defense industry was able to produce 70% of the country's military weapons, right? Vehicles, equipment, and ammunition. So, I mean, if you think about it, that was probably, two decades worth of like investment and focus, right? Now, through the years, the defense industry has expanded significantly, and the industries that it encompasses and the sectors are aerospace, shipbuilding, and ground forces, like tanks, right?
Right.
Now, when we think about kind of like the commercial business aspect of it,
right.
And if you look at the timeline, where 1990s were 70% of the country's military weapons they were able to produce, but now in 1988, at the end of the 80s, exports
only, okay,
revenue was $50 million.
Okay,
so
not
that was a small sum, but
back in the day.
Yep. In 2006, that jumped fivefold to $250 million.
Oh, that's significant.
Yes.
Okay.
In 2017. $3.2 billion.
Oh, that's a big jump.
Big jump. In 2018, South Korea was ranked as the 11th largest arms exporter globally.
And we don't hear about that a lot, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the usual suspects.
Yeah.
But we don't really think of South Korea as like a huge exporter of like arms.
Well, yeah. Exactly, but then that is what's piqued my interest, because since I've been here, I've been hearing about the new product development in this area. So it's pretty interesting. It's almost like a hockey stick curve where slow growth and all of a sudden it shoots up vertically.
Yes.
Now in 2022, recently, South Korea became the world's 8th.
Now we're the top 10.
Yes, largest weapons exporter, reaching $17.3 billion.
Oh, I wish we didn't have a need for weapons. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yes.
But we're discussing this as a
business.
Right.
Yes. From a commercial standpoint.
Exactly. 7.0.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
Yes.
In terms of some highlights for the industry, there it is. This South Korea's defense industry is also coined K-방산.
Ah, is it?
Yes.
Okay, K-방산, okay.
Yep. Major players in this industry here domestically, in 2020, there was a top 100 list that listed the top 100 defense companies globally.
Yes.
And 4 of South Korea's companies were ranked on that list.
Oh, okay.
And Hanwha was ranked 32. Korea Aerospace Industries was 55.
Yes.
LIG Next One was 68, and Hyundai Rotem was 95.
Oh, so 4 in the top 100 in the world.
In the world.
Yes.
Now, in terms of overall growth and like the impact that it has made, in a sense, right? Between the years of 2010 and 2014, right? South Korea exported its weapons to only 7 countries at that time. Yeah, with more than half of that going to Turkey.
Ah, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Now between 2015 to 2019, so we're looking at the second half of that decade.
Sure.
The number of countries increased to 17.
So they went from 7 to 17.
Yes. So a big change. By 2019, the exports have grown 143%, more than doubling between the prior period of 2010 to 2014. And in 2022 alone, the defense industry has been credited with creating 130,000 new jobs.
Yes. So that is a big industry. We can't.
Yes, it's not small.
Right.
In terms of main customers, so countries that it exports to, so South Korea's arms exports, 50% goes to Asia and Oceania customers. 24% goes to Europe.
Okay.
and 17% goes to the Middle East.
Oh,
yep.
Interesting.
And in 2019, we know that it's top 8, but 2019 was the first time Korea cracked that top 10 list.
Sure.
Largest arms exporter. And at that time, their main customers countrywide was Indonesia, Iraq, and the UK.
And the UK.
Yes.
Oh,
So, yeah, European foothold there.
Yes, yes.
And more recently, the country has secured major deals with countries like Saudi Arabia, Australia, and Poland, exporting items such as the K2 tank. So I heard about that one. The K9 self-propelled howitzers. And the FA-50 light fighter jets.
Hence, like one of our listeners said, like, Tommy, K9 and K2 are the best. But, I'm not an army military person. I was like kind of looking, like, what is he talking about? K9. Yeah. Oh, K2 so the K2 tanks and the K9 howitzer. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, that's what caught my interest. Like, I didn't, coming here, I didn't know much about the defense industry here. But as I read more about the products, I mean, the technological advances are pretty amazing.
Yes. Pretty amazing, right?
I love it, but yeah, from a business perspective.
Business perspective, because we love peace, not war.
Yes.
Right.
Now, when we look at like the future, right, there are some challenges, and I think for this industry overall to maintain its competitiveness in the global arms market, there's still a dependence on foreign technologies.
Yes.
And the issue has been and still being addressed. So there's still a struggle to develop some technologies domestically, which really forces South Korea and this industry to import what it can't develop, right? And the impact here is the reliance on these foreign components can also restrict exports.
That's true.
Why? Because the country that developed the imported parts can prevent the country from exporting the whole system.
Right.
So it's like...
so like depending on where that part was manufactured or created.
They have say in who could be, that system could be sold to, right?
Yes.
Now, looking ahead on the bright side, from a commercial standpoint, this defense industry is poised for further growth. And this year, the government aims to increase arms exports to $20 billion and carve out a 5% share of the global arms export market by 2027.
Interesting. But I want to get to your phrase of the week, because this is kind of what starts our Monday.
Yes.
So here we go.
All right. Make the impossible possible. Now,
all right.
And this phrase means to achieve something that was previously considered unattainable, often by overcoming significant challenges and demonstrating great determination, creativity, or belief in oneself. So, looking at this industry and where it started and where it is today, I mean, I could say they made this defense industry for South Korea has made the impossible possible.
Yes.
Now, taking a page for ourselves this week, I would say, look at what we're up against, and hey, there might be a challenge, whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, right? And things don't happen overnight, as we saw in this case, right? It took a lot of time, it took effort, and also determination and focus.
Yes.
So that's kind of like the encouragement and the little nudge that I leave our waivers this morning to make the impossible possible this week.
I like that. Make the impossible possible. Yes. So great food for thought as we kick off our Monday morning. And of course, we'll check in with you real soon. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
And with that, thank you to all the waivers out there who listened, who chimed in, gave us your 2 cents as well. How about this song to take us out? 차표 한 장 by 송대관, as of course we mark his passing, dedicated to a JB waiver who wanted to listen to this. So enjoy and join us tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
차표 한 장 손에 들고 떠나야 하네. 예정된 시간표대로 떠나야 하네. 너는 상행선, 나는 하행선, 열차에 몸을 실었다. 사랑했지만 갈 길이 달랐다. 이별의 시간표대로 떠나야 했다. 달리는 차창에 비가 비가 내리네 그리움이 가슴을 적시네 너는 상행선 나는 하행선 추억이 나를 울리네 차표 한 장 손에 들고 떠나야 하네
Your bridge to the world. befm 부산영어방송.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재,